session. So hello and welcome everybody to today's webinar, Improve Your Return on Investment with International and Multilingual Search Engine Optimization. I'm super excited to present this session with you today, Peter. We just met recently in Amsterdam at Gala Global. And yeah, now we're speaking again and presenting this session. Peter, I'm going to ask you to introduce yourself. And as we can see, there's a picture of you right there. So if you want to quickly just introduce yourself.
Okay, quickly. We are on this website translation industry for 5 years now. Under the name easyling.com. We are 22 engineers. And we are engineers only, so we have nothing to do with the translation service itself. We are providing website translation technology for LSPs. So we are the friends of LSPs, we are not competing with them. And we are the only LSP independent technology providers. So this is what we are working with, and we are focusing on website translation and only on website translation. So for this, I should say that we provide the cutting edge state-of-the-art technology in this field.
Awesome. And I see you must be nearly as old as I am. You also played with the Commodore 64.
Yes, this is where my background, this is where I came from. I was 6 years old and I got this Commodore 64 and I just discovered the universe where if I say something, it happens, and there's no debate on it. And if I say it correctly to the machine, then do what I do. So since then, what I play with and what I really passionate about is that to solve problems with IT. You know, there is a saying that IT is for solving problems that wouldn't exist if IT wouldn't exist.
Yeah.
But my think about it that IT can be really wisely used, and it's really useful. For example, for translation, everybody knows there are the CAT tools, MemoQ, Trados, MemSource, XTM, all the others, and it can really help and ease your life.
No,
and this is what I'm passionate about.
Absolutely, and we'll take a look at your technology in just a few minutes here. All right, so my name is Chris Rolfe. I'm the founder of Boulder SEO Marketing, originally from Switzerland, moved to Boulder back in '96. I love it here. This is an amazing place. I love to hike, bike, drink. We have awesome beer here. So we offer all kinds of SEO and digital marketing services. But that said, we have a very packed agenda today. So this is going to be a very packed webinar. So we'll try to get to everything, and hopefully at the end we'll try to have a little bit of time for Q&A. So if you already have questions for Peter or myself, please use the Q&A or chat interface, and we'll get to those questions at the end of the presentation. Well, with that said, Peter, you're going to talk about website translation in 2017. I'm actually going to make you the presenter right here. So you're the presenter. If you want to go ahead and share your screen.
Yes, please give me a feedback that if you can see my dashboard.
All good. All right, you're on, Peter.
Okay, thank you very much. What I will cover is the website translation in 2017. And why we are talking about this, what is the reason that there's a session, there's a webinar about this, and there's 22 engineers, what is their daily job? Website translation is difficult. And the question, why is it difficult and why is it so hassle heavy? The answer is that the websites are not HTML files anymore. It was in the 80s and in the 90s. But then all the websites moved into content management system like WordPress, Joomla, Typo3, Magento, Sitecore. I'm pretty much sure that you have heard a couple of these. So the websites content are in databases now and not in files. There is no index.html and all the others. So since this is the situation, there are a lot of challenges that I need to face with when a website translation project came along. Even the very first question is an IT-heavy process, IT-heavy to answer. The very first question which every business starts with, how much would it cost? Dear translator, this is my website. This is the address of my website. How much would it cost to translate it to Spanish? Usually the answer is something like this. Oh, I'm very happy and really passionate to give you a proposal. Please give me your website in a Word file or in an Excel file, and then I can make a word count, then I can give you a proposal. And usually the content owner doesn't have a clue how to do this. This was our situation when we started this whole business with these engineers 5 years ago, that we wanted to roll out a website, our own website, to other countries. We wanted to localize it. And when we asked proposal from several LSPs around the world, nobody would able to give us a quote. Of course, we had quite a big website then. So the very first question, how much would it cost, is hustle-heavy question, not mentioning all the others and all the other issues when, for example, you would like to have an instant visual feedback about your translation. When we are talking about a website, there are layouts, there is a context, and you would like to know if your translation perfectly fit and match into the layout and into the context. So for example, if you make a translation, here is the slide that I'm just talking about as a challenge. When you make a translation from English to Spanish, we all know that Spanish language at least 50% longer than the English one. Then you need to know if the translation fit into the button, fit into the menu item, fit into the sub-menu item. And traditionally, when you get a file, even a Word, even an Excel, even a whatever Excel file, and you do the translation in your own CAT tool, which might be MemoQ, Trados, XDM, MemSource, whatever you use, you don't see the context, you don't see the layout. So you cannot be sure if you deliver back the translation, does it fit there? Also, it is important from contextual point of view. So the in context is very important because let's say that you make it from Hawaiian language to English. In the Hawaiian language, the word aloha means welcome and also means goodbye. If your translator, if your vendor see on the left column, on the source language column, aloha, what does it mean? Welcome or goodbye? They don't have a clue, and when you deliver back the translation, you would like to be sure that the client will be happy and they got the perfect matching translation, also into the layout, also into the context. So basically, these are just a couple of the issues, couple of the challenges that you face with when you try to do a website translation project, not mentioning about the e-commerce websites where there are a lot of dynamic content. Different product catalog is available for the Spanish market, for the Japanese market, how you can localize different regional version, or if there is a change, if there is any new content that you need to translate. So this automatic change detection is also a very critical issue. Also, there might be some content, blogs or news, for example, which the client doesn't want to translate. How you can exclude these from the source content extraction. So there are a lot of issues which are not translation issues, but IT issues. So today, translating the website is more an IT issue than a translation issue. And this is where we help, and this is where we give you a helping hand, and the different tools like proxy tools, translation proxy gives you a helping hand with. And so, for example, a proxy or other website translation tool removes the IT friction. So it became, again, just a translation issue, which is your core competence and which you are the best at. Let me tell you what are the ways today to translate a website. If a prospect decides and have the strong intention to localize the website, there are 5 options to do it. No other options are there. So end of the day, they will pick one of these 5 options, and therefore you need to know what to suggest, what to recommend to your prospect. So to gain their trust, and show credibility in this industry and in the translation business, you need to be able to help them decide which option they need to choose, what is the best fit for their priorities, for the requirements. All these options have pros and cons, has advantages and downsides. Let me just quickly go through on these options and tell you what are the pros and cons. So first option, if somebody would like to go global and would like to localize the website, if they are using multilingual content management system. There are some, not too many, but there are some content management system which is prepared to handle different language version. The problem with it, that the vendor, the translators must have access, administration access to this content management system, which involves a huge security issue and the risk that the translator who are not too educated in that CMS, in that content management system, might make some damages. This is what exactly happened with our own website 5 years ago. We decided that we give access to our content management system to Russian, Japanese, Spanish translators. We give them access, and they deleted all the source content. They rewrote the English one to Spanish, and all the English content were gone. So there are a huge risk if you give access, if the content owner gives access to vendors, and usually they don't like to do this. Also, a problem with this choice, that there is no translation memory that can be utilized. There is no cat tool features that can be utilized. But the translators log into their content management system, which is a new interface. They need to learn it. There's a learning curve to get familiar with it, and then do the translation right there. But this is an option. Another option, option 2, manual copy paste. If the website is not too big, for example, it's not an e-commerce website, but let's say a hotel website or a small lawyer's website, winery, restaurant, whatever website, in some time, LSP start manually to copy paste the content, do the translation, and send back the Word file or HTML files. The problem with it, it's manual, and also if you translate to Excel or translate to Word, there is no too much context in it, so you cannot check if you use a function, for example, menu items or buttons, how would it work? Or there's a form, how would it work? Also, a problem with it, that only the visual elements, visual components will be copied into the Word file, and all the other elements, the hidden elements, or SEO meta tags, which is very important, you won't be able to translate, because it's in the source of the website. There is no visible elements for the SEO meta tags. Option 3, content connector. Using a content connector for some content management system like WordPress and some others, there are third-party services or third-party which automatically extract the content from the content management system database, make an XLIF file out of it, deliver it to the translators. Then the translators will do the translation on this XLIF file in their familiar system, in MemOQ, MemSource, XTM, Trados, whatever. Then once it's done, this content connector will inject back the translated bilingual XLIF file into the original content management system database. Two problems with it. First, content connector is not free. It costs money, and depending what content connector the client use, it can be huge, it can be reasonable, but it always costs a lot, and also it requires IT skills and engineer hours, because every time they update the content management system, this content connector must be also updated. The other problem with it, that once you get an XLIF file and you do the translation of this file, still you don't see the context. You don't know if the Hawaiian aloha is a welcome or a goodbye, and you don't know if the Spanish expression fit into the original button or the menu items. Option 4 is the JavaScript-based translation. In this option, the clients inject a JavaScript code, a snippet, it's a one-line code, into the original website. And then this JavaScript code will do the translation real-time on the fly. It means when a foreign visitor go to the www.whatever.com website where they use this JavaScript-based translation, then this JavaScript will detect what language this visitor speaks, what is the, let's say, the settings of their browser, and then this JavaScript code will download the corresponding translation memory and do the real-time replacement in the visitor's browser for all the segments, all the menu items, all the strings, all the paragraphs, and everything. The problem with it, there's always a trade-off. There is no free lunch. The problem with it, that there is no SEO at all. The JavaScript, since the JavaScript do the real-time replacement on the fly by a user interaction, when the user arrives to the website, there are the flags, there are the language selector, and then click, let's say, to the Korean flag, this JavaScript will download the corresponding translation memory, or if it's something that the JavaScript automatically detects, for example, the visitor's settings. So, but anyhow, it required a user interaction. Click on the flag selector, or providing the settings of the browser, what language the visitor speaks. But anyhow, this JavaScript, to run this JavaScript, which will do the real-time on-the-fly translation, this JavaScript requires a user interaction or a live user settings, browser settings. Since Google, Bing, Yahoo, and all the other search engines doesn't provide user interactions, they won't be able to discover the Korean version of the website. Make it more, simplifies it more, that when a Korean comes to www.whatever.com, they push the Korean flag, this JavaScript will replace all the text from English to Korean. When the Google robots arrive to the www.whatever.com, there is no any person who will push the Korean button, so it means Google won't be able to discover the different language version. So in the case of JavaScript-based translation, there is no SEO. However, this is a very good match and very good fit for several cases. For example, if we are talking about a web application translation, web application localization, let's say that this is a CRM system or a I don't know, a company's service where they just provide an interface, an online interface for their users. So when it's a web application, and this website and this web application is not to gravitate millions of visitors and convert them to customers, but just to provide an online interface for existing customers, SEO doesn't play any role. So in that case, in case of web application, JavaScript-based translation is a very good solution. Also, if it's an intranet translation, for example, Bank of America or Samsung have tens of thousands of employees, and they would like to make their knowledge base, their biggest asset, their knowledge base available for their employees in different languages, SEO again doesn't play any role, because this knowledge base is not for the public audience of the internet. So there is no need to make it available and make it discoverable for Google and Bing. In that case, JavaScript-based translation also a very good match. This was option 4. Option 5, which I would like to go more into the details, which is, I think, the state-of-the-art website translation solution, the translation proxy. The translation proxy removes all of the IT friction. Basically, the client, the prospect, literally doesn't have to move their fingers. They just say, hey, this is my website. I would like to have it in Spanish, Korean, Japanese, and German. Do it. And from that moment, they don't have to do anything, and you will be able, the LSP will be able to to provide the up and running working translated Korean, Japanese, German, and Spanish website without any IT involvement of the client. The downside of it, or the disadvantage of it, that providing this up and running working translated website has an ongoing cost. This is an ongoing service serving all the foreign visitors and associated with an ongoing cost. This is the translation proxy cost. And the second downside of it, if it's a downside, that when a foreign visitors come to the foreign language version, there will be a proxy server in this traffic. So all the traffic between the foreign visitors and between the client, the content owner, between this traffic, there will be a proxy server which will do this online real-time translation of the traffic. It works similar as the JavaScript based. As you remember, what the JavaScript did, that it does the real-time translation on the fly in the visitor's browser. So the visitor arrives to the website, and then this JavaScript will activate and replace all the source content to the target language. The very same happening in this translation proxy, but instead of the visitor's browser, this is a proxy server which stands as a man in the middle in the traffic and do this real-time on-the-fly replacement. So there is a third party, the proxy provider, involvement in the traffic. This can be a disadvantage. This can be a no-go condition if, for example, the company has a policy, very strict security policy, which says that no third-party involvement is allowed in the traffic. Or if it's a healthcare institution or insurance company, and the country law says that it is not allowed, it's permitted, that third party would be involved in the traffic. If very sensitive private content would travel between the server, between the content owner and the visitor, and this is very important priority that no third party can be involved in the traffic, then translation proxy can be a not optimal solution. But end of the day, the client, the prospect will have to choose one of these 5 options. And this is why is it very important the LSP to understand it, because it's the LSP who needs to help to choose the right fit for the client. So these are the 5 options, and I would like to show you just quickly to get a taste of it, how the 5th one, the translation proxy, works. How does it look like when the client really doesn't have to do anything and they will be able to have their up and running working translated website. For this, let me just switch to another window here. This is a hotel website, very typical. It's very English, and of course they would be happy to have their website in Spanish as well, in Chinese, in Korean, because typically a hotel would welcome guests all around the world. But it's a hotel in Espan. But if a Chinese visitor would put into the Chinese Google that I would like to accommodation in Espan, this website won't have any chance to be displayed there because there is no Chinese version of it. So let's say that they approach you and would like to have their website translated. Let me show what happens, what is the workflow to do it. So the very first, again, now you don't have to memorize where I click. Just get the impression how easy it is to make a quote and do the translation and deliver the up and running working translated website to a prospect with the translation proxy. First step, we give a quote to this website. How much will it cost? You create the project. Now I'm talking about EasyLink. It could be other services as well. But what I would like to emphasize here, don't memorize, just get the impression. So you create the project, this URL, Hotel Nado. You go to the discovery menu, click the discovery button, and basically that was it. You will have a precise number, accurate number, how many words are there, how many repetitions are there, and how many unique words are there. With the click of a button, you are able to tell how much would it cost. You know your price, your own price, you know how many words are there, you just make a multiplication. Two things can happen. Hotel Anado owner can say, I like your proposal, do the translation for me, or they can say, no, thank you very much, I don't want to do the translation. Let's say that they accept your proposal, so preferably they say, yes, do the translation. Next step, source content extraction. It automatically happens with a system like this. You will have all the segments extracted with a click of a button. And you can do the translation even in this form. You can export it to XLIF. You can put it into your CAT tool, MemoQ Charos XCMM source, or you can do the translation right here in the online interface. Also, you will be able to see the context of it. So you can do the translation right there in the original layout. So as I'm typing as a translator, here I get an instant visual feedback there. What happens there? Does it fit there? Is it the right expression according to the context and to the layout? So during the translation, you will be able to see how does it look like, how does it fit into the original layout and context, so you can be sure that the translation that you deliver back is a perfectly matching translation to the layout, to the context as well. And once the translation is done, and also you reviewed it in the original layout and context, with the click of a button, this one, here it is, you will have the up and running working translated Chinese website without any IT skills, without any IT involvement or resource required from the client, and is there on the Chinese subdomain of the website. So this was the original www.hotelanado.com. With the click of a button, you were able to give them a quote, and once they accept your quote, you were able to do the translation in the original layout, and with the click of a button, you were able to deliver them the up and running working translated website on the corresponding subdomain. It cannot be easier. So this is what the translation proxy provides. It removes the IT friction and make you able to acquire and deliver website translation projects. Basically, this is the essence that I wanted to share with you and I wanted to cover. And of course, if there will be any questions regarding to any of these steps, regarding to the technology or to the market, I'm really happy to answer, but I think this is all that I wanted to cover for first about this technology.
Wow. Doesn't get any easier than that. Thanks a lot, Peter. Let me take control back here, and I'm going to show my main screen. Let me know, can you see my the slides again?
Not yet.
Let me see. I'm having.
Yes.
Can you see it now?
Yes.
All right. Cool. All right. So let's get into question. Let me see. Yes. Perfect. Okay. All right. So now that we spoke about how to translate those websites, let's talk about the importance of search engine optimization and ISEO, international SEO. Oops, there we go. All right, so the good news is, the good news and the bad news, we have an hour here together, which is great, but it's just simply not enough time. It's SEO has become so involved and technical. So this is a very broad overview, but we have additional resources and we'd be happy to share those with you. All right, also quickly, disclaimer, SEO changes all the time. Google updates its algorithm about 3 times a day, minor changes and several large updates throughout the year. So just keep that in mind. SEO changes all the time. Peter, where's the best place to hide a dead body? You may have to unmute yourself. Can you hear me? Peter?
Yes, I'm here. Sorry. Okay. I was muted. I did notice. So what was the question again?
Best place to hide a dead body.
Mm-hmm.
Where would that be? Where would you hide a dead body?
I would chop it up to small pieces and eat it.
Wow. All right. So I teach at high schools as well, and they come up with answers like you. Not bad. All right. So it's actually here on page number 2 of Google. If you're not in the top 3, 4 organic search results, your website's not going to be found, right? So this is the best place to hide a dead body. Man, that was a good answer. All right, so this webinar is about proving the return on investment with website localization and SEO. Well, take a look at this. It's actually a real customer example. We help them increase organic search traffic from Google by roughly 1,400% over a period of 3.5 years. Well, that's great, right? But what about conversion? Well, that increase in Google organic search traffic actually correlated with a 800% increase in revenues directly to Google organic search traffic. If I would promise you or like tell you, hey, I can get you a return like that in the market, I mean, I bet most everybody would jump on that opportunity. All right. So, with technologies like Peter has invented, more and more websites are being created on a daily basis. It's getting easier and easier. So your competition is growing on a daily basis. About 140,000 new websites are created every day. What does that mean? On the way over to Amsterdam to Gala Global, where we recently met, I read this article that states that, from 2001 to 2011, the amount of internet content written in English grew by 280%. Spanish content, in part thanks to technologies like EasyLink, grew by 750%. Chinese content, nearly by 1,300%. Arabic content, 2,500%. That is amazing. Well, what does that mean? You're going to compete with a lot more content in relation to your target SEO keywords. Its SEO is getting more and more and more competitive because more and more content is being created out there. All right, so we have a lot of language service providers on this webinar today. You really have to educate your customer. Don't just translate content, help them optimize the content that you translate. The multilingual content has to be better or at least as good as the source content, so that you have a realistic chance to actually compete with the content that's already out there on the same topic. Also, your argument for professional localization, translation, transcription services. Machine translation does absolutely nothing for SEO. In fact, quite the opposite. Google will detect the low quality content and the website may get penalized for using machine translation. All right, let's take a quick look at the 5 pillars of SEO methodology. So if you type something into Google, in my case, SEO training is a big keyword for me, Google will run this query through its algorithm, which currently consists of about 250 main ranking signals, thousands of sub-ranking signals. All of these signals can be placed onto one of those 5 pillars or buckets, whatever you want to call it. It's basically the technical health of a website, the functionality of a website, the user experience is extremely important. Then on-page SEO, anything that happens on a website, starting with keyword research, meta tags optimization, hyperlinking, etc. Then off-page SEO, anything that happens outside of your website that tells Google that you're relevant for certain keywords and phrases. And then, love it or hate it, social media marketing has to be part of your overall digital marketing and SEO strategy. And then, of course, the foundation of SEO is a very strong content marketing strategy. There's no SEO without content marketing. Here's the link to an article that I wrote about this methodology. All right, so we created a bunch of project and process templates here at Boulder SEO Marketing, and I invite you to, please take advantage of these templates. They will definitely help you implement a very strong SEO strategy. I just launched a self-paced online SEO training, and you can actually review, I'll go over these templates as part of the free preview of this online training. So feel free to sign up and take advantage of this additional content. And by the way, we'll be sending you the link to the slides, so you'll get access to all these links and everything that we're sharing here today. All right, keyword research for SEO. So basically, before you can optimize a multilingual website, your source language website has to be properly optimized. You need to know the keywords that you want to be found for in your target language, most are often English in this case. We're going to take a look at some of my target SEO keywords, and unfortunately, we simply don't have enough time to go over the keyword research process in detail. I do 2-day workshops here in the Denver area, and that's usually a 2-hour segment of that training. But basically, there are tools that you can use to find exactly the keywords that your potential target audience is typing into Google. We know exactly how many people are searching for those keywords on a monthly basis. We know how competitive they are. As it relates to AdWords, we know how much people are willing to spend per click. So we take all the information into consideration before we lock in a keyword, and then we keep track of those keywords on a monthly basis. So it's really nice to see that, based on your content marketing efforts, on your SEO efforts, that you're actually making progress over time, because you want to get to that into those top 3-4 positions organically on Google. So that's definitely, I recommend you have to find those keywords that you're going to target before you venture into international search engine optimization. All right, then the first thing, once you have found those target SEO keywords, you simply have to optimize your each and every page, the meta tags on your website. That's the easiest thing that you can do in terms of SEO, and will have a huge impact right away. Your title tag should be no longer than 60 characters. It should include a target SEO keyword, the most important keyword for that page. Then the description tag should be no longer than 160 characters. You want to include 1 or 2 variations of that target SEO keyword for that particular page. And then I still recommend that you take advantage of the keywords meta tag, and there you want to limit, you want to include 2 to 4 target SEO keywords. And then of course, please make sure to include a keyword in the URL. Google still pays attention to that. All right. So let's briefly talk about why multilingual and international SEO. All right. It's simply, if you have a multilingual website, it has to be part of your localization translation services. For the LSPs on this webinar, it's an excellent upsell opportunity. Again, don't just sell translation, sell search engine optimized translations. You can charge a premium. Local markets are often saturated, hyper competitive. Last but not least, I think it's exciting and fun It's definitely a new service that not too many LSPs are offering at this point. Before you venture into international search engine optimization, whether you are a language service provider or a a direct customer out there, make sure, do your research, ask yourself these questions. There could be legal restrictions. Can you actually offer customer support, sales support in those languages? Please do your research before you venture into multilingual search engine optimization. Then a quick introduction to multilingual and international SEO. So Peter, could you please unmute yourself? I have a question for you.
I did.
All right. What do these countries, territories, and places have in common? And I'm gonna ask you to answer right now.
Wow. Good question.
Well, English is the primary language of all of these countries. And
something related to languages?
Yes. So English is the primary language in all of these countries, territories, and places. So it's a big world, but I usually encourage my employees or people in general, think outside of the box. But when it comes to multilingual international SEO, you can also think inside the box. There are many variations of English out there, and it's a massively huge market. So, if you don't want to translate your content right away, at least take advantage of English multilingual SEO. Let me show you an example here. The keyword golf balls. All right, so I'm using Google's keyword planner tool, which is telling me exactly how many people are searching on an average basis, on a monthly average basis for whatever keywords. All right, so in this case, golf balls yields about 33,000 searches in the US alone. But if you look at the search on a global scale, that's nearly double the amount of searches. So we're looking at roughly 61,000 searches. All right. So if I were an e-commerce site in the US selling golf balls, I would want to get a piece of that pie. So I looked at the search results on Google for golf balls in the US, and obviously Dick's Sporting Goods is doing a good job, Rock Bottom Golf, and also Amazon. We're all familiar with Amazon. So they do a good job in the US. But then I used and by the way, that's a great website you should write down. It's called isearchfrom.com. And I use a Google Incognito browser, so it doesn't take my previous browser history into account. So I can check search results on Google from like anywhere in the world. So I did a quick search for golf balls, and I looked at the search results. Those are the top 3 organic search results for US, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, and the UK, all 5 big golf markets, right? To my surprise, not one of these websites is listed twice in these countries. To me, that's mind-blowing. So if I were a e-commerce site selling golf balls, I mean, I would optimize for all of these foreign markets, so to speak. I don't even have to translate anything. All right. So let's dive into the 5 pillars of I SEO methodology. Basically, same thing. It's exactly the same thing as with English SEO, And here's an article that I wrote about international search engine optimization. Basically, yes, there are additional things that you'll have to do, but basically, If you do English SEO, you can basically replicate that strategy for your multilingual SEO strategies. So let's take a look at the resources that are needed to implement a successful international SEO strategy. All right. So first of all, you need an SEO manager, develops a strategy, manages a team, drives the process, analyzes data, etc. Then very important, you need an in-country I SEO resource, a native speaker that understands SEO, can help you with keyword research, transcreation, meta tag optimization, content development, edit, etc., etc. Then you need content creators, you need social media experts, and you also need a webmaster, web designer who could potentially help you with implementing tools such as EasyLink. All right. I also invite you to take advantage or make a copy of our I SEO templates. Again, unfortunately, we don't have time to cover the template here today. They are part of that online SEO training. And by the way, I'll send you the link with an offer as a follow-up to this webinar. Then real quick, as an LSP, you can help your customers make informed decision. And I encourage you to use Google Analytics and Google Search Console for market research. If they don't know what markets to localize or translate into, simply go to Google Analytics, go to your audience, overview, geo, location, boom, right there. This is a real customer example, an e-commerce website where we saw, hey, we're actually getting transactions from Canada, and we don't currently optimize for Canada. So it's very easy to use a service such as EasyLink to localize that website into French Canadian or like Canadian English, etc. Then also Search Console. It's a great tool where actually Google shares some valuable information on the search traffic. You can take a look at what traffic is coming from what countries. This is Google only data. So in this case, we saw that the website is actually performing really well in Canada without us even having done anything. So that's definitely a low-hanging fruit option for us to optimize for. Also, this shows the keyword rankings for some of our target SEO keywords in Canada. These tools provide amazing information. Definitely recommend you take advantage of this free data. Also, if you're really serious about international SEO, don't forget that there are other search engines out there that are dominant in other markets, such as China, Russia, or South Korea. So maybe worth hiring somebody or contracting with somebody who speaks the language, who can actually take advantage of the various tools available from those search engines. All right, real quick, the basic I SEO process. I definitely recommend that you follow this process. You'll just be so much more successful when it comes to international SEO. I'm not going to go over all these steps. Again, you'll get the link to the slides of this presentation, but I want to focus on the two things here. Your multilingual SEO expert is going to be a key component to the success of this strategy. Ideally, you need to have somebody in country who gets the market, who thinks like a local person. It needs to be a professionally trained linguist, ideally somebody familiar or open to learning SEO and international search engine optimization. Interested and capable of working with tools such as Google Global Market Finder, Keyword Planner, Google Trends. Those are some of the tools that we'll take a quick look at in the keyword research process. All right, so let's take a look at the keyword research process for ISEO. All right, again, these are the tools that I recommend you take advantage of. These are all free Google tools. All right, so let's say if if I want to venture into the German market. So one of my keywords that I'm targeting here in the US is SEO company. I know exactly that 6,600 people on a monthly basis are searching for this keyword. Very lucrative. If I can get into that number 1, 2, or 3 spot on Google, I know this is going to make me money. So let's say I want to localize my website into German and find the best equivalent of this target SEO keyword. There's a tool called Global Market Finder. Simply plug in your keyword, SEO company, then select the languages that you would like to find the equivalent of that keyword for. Then click on Find Opportunity. Bang, right there. This tool now spits out translations with data that are very valuable to you. There we go. SEO company, SEO firma. I know exactly how many people are searching for those keywords in the German market. So this is a free tool. I'm getting free information. I recommend that before you lock in a certain keyword in a foreign language, go back to Keyword Planner, which is part of Google AdWords, right there. Click on Search for new keywords using a phrase, etc. Plug in SEO company and SEO firma, and you want to change the targeting to Germany for German. Click on Get Ideas. Again, this data correlates with the data that I got from Google Market Finder. But check this out. Under additional keywords, recommended keywords, Google actually recommends, hey, you may want to take a look at SEO Agentur. We're looking at 2,900 keywords, so this is definitely the keyword that I would have to go with. It's probably the best equivalent of that target SEO keyword. So that was a real quick introduction to that process. Just another quick example here. In the US, cell phone is a commonly used word for those smartphones, cell phones, etc. In Germany, many people, the equivalent would be handy. 110,000 people are using that keyword. In Switzerland, that keyword is being challenged by the keyword Natel. So even though it's the same language, we both speak German in Germany and Switzerland, there are variations and people are using different keywords. So if you're targeting, Germany, Switzerland, Austria, you definitely have to do that research to get those keywords right. All right. Again, that was a real quick introduction to keyword research for ISEO. The last tool that I wanted to share is Google Trends. Before you lock in a keyword, make sure that you're not locking in a keyword that's on a downward spiral. So definitely lock in a keyword that more searches are occurring over time. As you can see here, handy and Natel. When I grew up, Natel was the dominant search term. Now it's handy in Switzerland, and it's definitely going up. All right. Then as an LSP, don't forget to update your glossary and TM with those target SEO keywords. Quick word about content marketing. Again, recap here. Include your target SEO keyword in the URL. Your title tags. Keep in mind that languages, just as German, they expand by about 30%. So it's going to be tricky to write those optimized meta tags and stick to those character limits. Then, please feel free to use, we have a content development template that we use for all of our clients. Please take advantage of that template once you start to venture into developing multilingual content that's going to be optimized for search. Then here's a little checklist that we use when we create and optimize content for our customers. Already running a little bit behind time here. Again, you're going to get those slides, so just take a look at the information again here. Then definitely please develop a strategy. We use simple Google Docs spreadsheets where you can map out your blog posts, press releases, case studies. As an LSP, you can help your customer develop a content marketing strategy. Most companies don't do it, and it's really easy. Just implement a planned content marketing strategy. All right, love it or hate it, social media needs to be part of your international SEO strategy. As you can see here, you can not only make money with social media marketing, that's a real customer example. All of these social media platforms, they actually help Google discover your websites. So I definitely recommend you take advantage of those international social media platforms. Then last but not least, if you can't measure it, you can improve it. It's a great quote by Peter Drucker, an Austrian-born American business consultant. All these tools, they provide insights. There are a lot of free tools that you can use, but also paid tools such as Moz, Swiss Made Marketing, SEMrush to keep track of how well your website is ranking for certain keywords. Yeah, and then again, that's part of our process templates. We track data for our clients on a monthly basis. They like to see these improvements in keyword rankings. And also you can pull data from tools such as Google Analytics and Search Console. If you report somebody else, your boss, I'm sure, would like to see that you're helping them increase organic search traffic. All right. With that said, Peter, you want to unmute yourself again?
I'm here.
All right, excellent. Let's take some questions, and I'm gonna have to bring up my, there we go. I would like to encourage our audience to submit questions now using the Q&A or chat interface. All right, quick question, Peter, for you. Are content connectors basically add-ins, plugins, which are available in CMS?
Yes, for different CMSs, there are these kind of plugins. For example, for WordPress, this is the WP-PML, which you can install on your customer's WordPress server, and it does the job. It will extract from the different database fields and database table. It just makes an XLIF of the source content, and once we have done the translation for the XLIF, it will put back in the appropriate database fields and tables. But the answer, yes, these are plugins for these content management systems developed by third-party providers.
Okay, awesome. And we'll probably run a little bit over time here. Again, you're going to get the link to recording. Definitely would like to address a few more questions here. If a website uses easy links, technology, Proxy to generate multilingual sites, what is the impact on international SEO? Does Google see the multilingual content? Are there any downsides from an SEO perspective?
Very good and important question. This is why somebody translated website, they would like to be there in the Google hit list. So the answer, the SEO rank will be as good as the translation is. So it means that if the translation has been done appropriately, and as Chris told, that it is very important to make your homework and do the research, market research, what are the right tags. For example, for the cell phone, for the mobile phone, it might be a cell phone or handy, depending which region you go for. If you make a good translation, it will have a very good rank. If you make a bad translation, it will have a not that good rank. So the effect, there is no special effect on these proxied websites. For Google, for Yandex, for Baidu, these translated websites are same, under the same nation than the original one. It's an existing translated website. The SEO rank depends how good translation you made.
Awesome. All right, for ISEO, what about languages with a smaller audience? For examples, less than 5 million, when there isn't much data available, do you recommend any tools? So Switzerland, I think a population is about 7 million, so we get decent information from the free Google tools, but definitely there are tools such as Moz, MOZ.com, ahrefs.com, SEMrush. Those are probably the main tools that I would recommend. They tap into a lot of data that will help you. So hopefully that answers your question, Stella. Let me see. Would you recommend Bright Edge as a tool for SEO? You know, I heard pro and cons. I personally have not used Bright Edge for SEO, so unfortunately I can't give you a definitive answer. I would go to forums, see what other users say on that topic. Let me see. What are best practices to avoid duplicate content penalty for an English site in US and Australia? Kent, great question. Unfortunately, we didn't have time for the technical ISEO part here. There are things called href, lang, tag, etc. That's part of that online training that I created. So definitely maybe go to the online training, at least you'll see the topics, but there are technical things that you can do on the back end of the website. Peter, are there tags that make it easy with EasyLink to tell Google, hey, this is the content for Australia, this is the content for the US, for Canada, etc.?
There are very standard ways. This is what you just mentioned. Yeah. href is the tool to tell Google, hey, this is the same content, but in different language versions. So there won't be any penalties for that. This is the standard default and best practice to do this.
Oh man, you thought about everything. Very great. That's makes things easy. Awesome. Do you have any tips on how to collaborate with international distributors' website? How important is our site versus distributor sites? You know, Terra, you know, get a backlink from those distributors. That's one of the most important ranking signals. If you have a lot of distributors, that can give you a lot of SEO juice. Then also make sure that they don't simply copy the content from your website. That could penalize their website or your website. So those are probably the two biggest tips that I have. And you know what? Hey, Peter, if you have time, we have a lot of questions here. I know we're already 5 minutes over time. Let's just keep on going.
I'm happy to do it, so I'm here.
Okay, awesome. Okay, actually, I got a note here from Tiago. I have a client that uses Bright Edge and I wouldn't recommend it. Okay, so that's from somebody who attended the website, the webinar today. Again, I can't speak to that. What's your insights on website localization instead of just translation? Well, I would actually go a step further. Your content has to be transcreated. It has to feel and sound as if it were created in that target country. So again, that goes back to the slides where we spoke about, you know, having an in-country person that, you know, lives and breathes the culture, you know, that gets it. You're gonna have to compete with content that's established, that's, you know, been developed in country. So yeah, I would not even just translate it or localize it. I would actually transcreate it. That's, you know, a hip term right now. Peter, any thoughts on that?
I think the main question, what is the purpose? So if the website have to sell a product, then it is very important to make the content quality as good as it can be, because otherwise the conversion will suboptimal. So if you would like to sell with your website, it needs to be created in the language that the market speaks and the people speak. So if you would like to sell mobile phones, and on that country it goes handy or natal, you have to use that term. And same with all the marketing materials and blog posts and everything, that you need to transcreate those. If the website goal is not to sell, but for example, for an intranet or a knowledge base that you would like to make it available, how to do this or how to do that for your users, then it's more a translation. Also, there is so-called language version and there is regional version. Sometimes for different region, different content will be produced. Maybe for the Japanese market, totally different blog posts or news are relevant than for the US market. So it's always have to evaluate by projects, what is the goal, what is the purpose, and of course, what is the budget. Transcreation always involve higher cost because it's an added value there than to translate.
Yeah.
So it there is no yes, no answer for this. Depends on the project, depends on the goals, depends on the budget. If you would like to sell, transcreation is something that you need, I think.
Absolutely, well said, exactly. Okay, how important is page load speed for SEO and ISEO? Extremely important, Lynn. So there's a new thing called AMP. It stands for Accelerated Mobile Pages. So Google is all about the user experience. I mean, now mobile searches have overtaken desktop searches on Google. So if your website doesn't load super fast, you may get downgraded. So this is absolutely important. Let me see. Let me see. Oh my God, we have a lot of questions. Again, going back to a distributor page, should a distributor page list of distributors link to distributor site, or does that hurt our ranking? Not quite sure if I get. No, I mean, no. If you interlink, that should not hurt your rankings at all. Let me see, question from Michael. We have a site in 4 languages, .com/es/en/de, etc. Let me see, where's the question? All right, so those are called subfolders. That's basically the easiest way to optimize, or an easy way to optimize for international SEO, instead of grabbing the, BoulderSEOmarketing.com, BoulderSEOmarketing.de for Germany, etc. How does EasyLink handle that? Subfolders, country-specific, top-level domains? Peter, how does EasyLink handle subfolders, etc.?
Yeah, basically, EasyLink can provide the different language version in both ways. It can provide on different domains or subdomains, for example, de.mydomain.com, and for the Japanese, gp.mydomain.com. EasyLink can provide it on top domains, that www.mydomain.com, mydomain.de, mydomain.gp, and also can provide on subfolders. This is only depends on the client wish. From SEO point of view, our impression and according to our knowledge, both can work, and there is no better or worst way. So it's not the fact, it's not the attribute that will how should I say, influence your SEO rank. You can use subdomain, top domains, or subfolders. Regarding to the regional versions, it is a very important question because sometimes it makes some confusion in the prospects and the client's head. So if there are different content version for the Japanese market, let's say, and different content version for the Chinese market, for example, different product catalog you would like to provide, then we are talking about two things, two dimensions: language version versus regional version. The best practice is the following. The domain is what the visitors will see the website. For example, for the Japanese market, gp.minddomain.com will show the given content in Japanese. de.minddomain.com will show the given content in German, and the URL will indicate the content version. For example, if you would like, if a Japanese visitor in Japan would like to see the content in German because he's an expat or she's an expat in the German language but lives in Japan, they would like to see the Japanese content version because this is what is available in Japan, but in German. In that case, the URL will look something like this, that de.minddomain.com / let's say Japan region / whatever. So what I want to say briefly is that the URL will show and indicate the content version, and the domain will indicate the language version. This is the best practice how they use it the most.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, Michael, to answer your question, you know, if you localize or transcreate a blog into multiple languages, you definitely need to include that tag, the href tags. Just do a Google search for href lang tag. You'll need to tell Google, hey, this is the blog post, but we have a version in Japanese, French, Italian, Spanish, so that you don't get hit with potential duplicate content, even if it's foreign languages. All right, let me see. Peter, does an EasyLink proxy site perform as fast as the original source site? If it's slower, does that lower the SEO rankings for the proxied multilingual sites?
No, it's not slower, and most of the case, it's faster. Let me explain. EasyLink utilized the Google Global Content Delivery Network, which means that the Spanish visitors will serve from the nearest server to Spain. The Japanese visitors will be served from the nearest server that is near to Japan. So it means that it can reduce the response time, which makes the better user experience. So basically, instead of the data of traveling all around the globe from the server to the visitor, the foreign language version can be edge cached near to the target market, country. So it can be even better. It can provide even better response time.
Awesome. And let's take already well over time, but we still have a lot of people online here. Let's take one more question. Let me see. What about international link building? Oh man, that's an entire segment in a 2-day workshop. Let me give you a quick answer here. I mean, definitely if you have distributors, partners, etc., you know, maybe write a guest blog post for them that they can put up on their website, link back to you. You can also do multilingual press releases. There are some great distribution sites, so you can push out your content, you know, in German, French, Italian, Spanish, whatever. You can also take a look at your competitor's backlink profile using tools such as Moz or Ahrefs, etc., to see where are they getting their backlinks from. Yeah, again, backlinks are one of the strongest ranking signals. I do never ever buy backlinks. You will get caught and you will get penalized. So do it naturally. For our customers, we write super high quality content. People find it, they link back to it. This is the best way. It also will cost you the most amount of time, resources, money, but this is what's going to pay off, and I tell you, it's going to pay off greatly. Yeah, man, Peter, I had a blast. Hey, do you have one more piece of advice before we wrap it up here for our audience?
I'm happy to stay as long as there are questions.
Yeah, I think we're already 15 minutes over time. Maybe if you have questions, submit them directly to Peter. I'll include, or you already have the email address, or else include that in our follow-up email. Do you have one more last piece of advice, like something that everybody needs to know, Peter?
Okay, the most important takeaway, I think, regarding to website translation, that first you need to know what is the customer's goal and choose the right way how to approach the website translation according to that. If their priorities are the SEO, or is it an intranet translation or a knowledge-based translation? So first, know your customer, know what they want, and then find the right solution for this. There are 5 options, and then you can choose the right one. So the most important thing, that you need to know what your client's real goal is.
Absolutely, and that's actually, it's funny, it's my final comment. I have a slide, it's part of my training. A goal without a plan is just a wish. It's so true. I mean, I talk to people every day. They have all these amazing goals, zero plan. Sometimes they don't even know who their customers are. So definitely a little bit of planning goes a long way, and you will be so much more successful. That said, we'll send a link to the recording, the file, the slides here, an offer, and then feel free to reach out to Peter and myself. Hey, Peter, I had a blast. I hope to see you maybe in Bucharest at the next conference, and let's do this again sometime soon. Thanks so much for your time. Thanks so much for your interest to our audience, and we're available to answer any questions you may have. All right, thanks. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Bye.